There's only so many songs that I can sing.
One of the burning issues in marriage today is domestic violence. Recently, we heard the news of a married woman who based in Scotland who was burned to death together with her brother by her husband. And a few days ago, we heard the news of the demise of a popular gospel musician by name Osinachi Nwachukwu, who died 3 days after being physically abused by her husband. These are sad realities. Hi, dear beloved, this is Catholic Marriage Forum. We welcome you to our today's episode. Today, we are discussing the theme domestic violence. By way of definition, domestic violence is a pattern of behavior that is used to intimidate, to control, and to abuse one's spouse. It exists in various forms such as physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse. It is important to state that domestic violence is a threat against marriage. It is also a threat against happy family. In our society today, we often hear news of how people die as a result of domestic violence. Please, do not be a victim of domestic violence. There are things you need to watch out for, and there are things you need to do in your marriage. If in your marriage you experience any of the following signs, or your spouse does any of the following to you, you know that you are actually a victim of domestic violence. 1. Physically abuse you by way of hitting you, beating you, hitting you, sometimes using sharp objects, sometimes saying things like, if I don't kill you in this marriage, you will not live in this marriage, I will do this to you, I will do that. You need to be careful. This is a sign of domestic violence. If your spouse abuses you verbally by saying words like, you are this, you are that, and sometimes disgracing you publicly, putting you down. If your spouse does not want you to be useful, doesn't want you to go to school, to do business, to achieve your career, in fact, to render you useless in your marriage, be careful. This is a sign of domestic violence. It could be sexual, it could be in the form of sexual abuse, by way of forcing you to engage in sexual relation against your own will. This is a form of abuse, and many other signs. You need to pay attention to all this. Then what should you do if you are a victim of domestic violence? Here it is important to state that do not die in silence. Many married people are dying in silence. They do not want to speak out. They want to bear the burden alone. The first thing is that you need to seek out someone you trust, confide with someone. It could be your priest, your religious leader. It could be any member of your family. Speak out. They can help you. Then you can meet a marriage counselor who can as well give you professional advice. You can report a case of domestic violence to the police or to agencies such as Justice Development Peace Commission. You find that in many Catholic dioceses. Then importantly, you know that you can separate when there is danger of death. The Church acknowledges separation. In Canon 1153, paragraph 1, the Church acknowledges that when there is danger of body or soul, when one of the spouses renders marriage unduly difficult for the other spouse, the innocent spouse can separate from board and bed while the marriage bond remains. Here, the Church believes that it is important for the person to live than to die in such manner. So you can approach the ecclesiastical authority, you can actually separate. The separation could be permanent, it could be temporal. So, my dear friends, domestic violence is a threat against marriage. It is our collective responsibility to fight against domestic violence. Let us pray. God our Father, I ask for your blessing upon all marriages, especially marriages where there is domestic violence. I pray for your peace. I pray for your grace. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.